Come out of the box.
Hello YouTube, cheers and welcome to The Basement. My name is Bruce Lively.
And I'm D-Boy Slim.
And The Basement is the first daily hip-hop debate show. From Tuesday through Friday, we tackle the most intriguing topics in hip-hop culture and the world around it. So welcome back, Basement family. It's City Wreckin' Wednesday, where we take two cities steeped in hip-hop tradition and debate which one is better, using things like influence, musicality, the hits, our favorite artists, and actually anything else we can come up with to prove our point in our debate. City Wreckin' Wednesday is brought to you by the Fleetwood Spice Collection. Try it for yourself. Get the full array of unique, delicious spices right here, just in time for the 4th of July. No, really, put that website in another tab and check it out while you watch this episode. Go ahead and do it. Also, please press that subscribe button, y'all. Let us know you love real hip-hop debate like we do. Now let's get City Wreckin' Wednesday on. Today's question is, Chicago versus Memphis. Lego.
Come out to the box, boy.
We back.
We back.
Today we at y'all with Chi-Town versus Memphis.
Y'all know what it is, man. And it's gonna be a heated one because we're talking about two really good hip-hop cities. That's steeped in tradition. That's what it's about, right?
The heart of the Midwest versus arguably the heart of the South. I'm on the side of Memphis. I think over the last 2.5 decades, almost 3 decades now, and with music, influence, culture, and style out of Memphis. And it's been some pretty heavy hitters. It's a large underground scene mostly in Memphis. So, and when I say underground, meaning a lot of their rappers and artists out of Memphis haven't necessarily reached mainstream acclaim, mostly because of the content, the majority of the content. With that being said, there's always a demand for music coming out of Memphis because there's a certain sound and content, again, that's coming out of Memphis that usually when it does reaches the surface and it does reach above ground and mainstream, it's something that everybody wants to hear and, quite frankly, everyone needs to hear. I think back and I go back to the groups when I was growing up, your 8 Balls and MJGs, your 3-6 Mafias. When you speak about 3-6 Mafia, you're talking about guys who broke ground when they won an Oscar, a musical award, but an Oscar for the music that they did for the Hustle and Flow movie. That was groundbreaking because that had never been done, especially from a rap group at the Oscars. That was never done before.
That was never done before?
Never. Pioneering, when you think about, or when we talk about where the South is right now, and them being in the forefront of hip hop, Memphis has a lot to do with that. As I mentioned, 8 Ball and MJG, I can remember their first, I'm not sure if it was an EP or an LP, but their first project and Coming Out Hard, that was groundbreaking for the South. Talking about the streets hadn't been heard before, and just really the South in general. You hadn't really heard dudes from the South at that time, besides maybe the Ghetto Boys. I know UGK might have been doing a thing at the time, but there wasn't a lot of groups out there. And I say groups because, as me and Bruce mentioned in shows prior, you don't see a lot of groups today. That back and forth tandem, that duo tandem. 8-Ball and MJG was actually nice with it. You remember songs like Armed Robbery? That was one of the crown jewels of that coming out hard. Mr. Big. But I ain't gonna talk y'all head off, but those are just some of the things why, some of the reasons why I feel like Memphis probably has a slight edge. And Chi-Town's rap scene is to be respected. We all know it's been a lot of good music, good rap music come out of the Chi-Town. But Memphis, if anything else, you're gonna say they consistent.
Consistent is the word I would use. And good. Like, nobody's gonna sit here and disrespect Memphis. Like, we had a couple Dolph shows already, and y'all know that I'm a big supporter. Like, I've not been on his side. You know what I'm saying? And 3-6, was influential, man. Very, 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 as I was growing up. So, but consistent is the thing. Like, you know what you're gonna get from them. Excuse the language, but it's gonna be drugs, hoes, guns, in some form or way. Is that bad? No, because there's a million cities around just America, but around the world, there's a million cities that grasped and latched on to hip hop because of that. Underserved, undereducated cities, cities that live that, where there's no way out. Chicago's one of those cities that latched on to hip hop because of that. That story needs to be told, and that story deserves to be told. That's what hip hop is here for, because other people are not going to tell that story. But what gives Chicago the edge is its diversity. Its diversity and its influence. Diversity and influence. When we say influence, we say things like awards, Grammys. Kanye West 21 Grammys.
Kanye West 21 Grammys.
That's Chicago. Right alongside your little Bibby. Right alongside your little Dirk, who's out there with the drill music. Right alongside Chief Keef, you got Kanye talking about Jesus Walks. That's influence, it's diversity. There's more to be gotten from that fruit right there. I do like what Memphis does, but that consistency is good, but it's not very diverse. There's nothing more than that one thing you're gonna get from it. Chance the Rapper, 3 Grammys. The amount of Grammys that come out of Chicago alone, like just out of Chicago alone, it's astounding. It's astounding. It's influential. The influence and the diversity. And when you talk about someone like Chance the Rapper, another thing that you're not gonna get, that you just won't get out of Memphis, not only does he have the Grammy, but I think more importantly, the same place that has Chief Keef, King Los, and Lil Bibby also has someone who also gets the NAACP Image Award. Like, this is the diversity that you're gonna get out of Chicago, and this is what makes it so influential. This is what makes it better. I mean, I don't want to go into my whole thing. We got a whole debate to go. Just a couple names, a couple things to think about. We love Memphis. We love y'all. You know that. You've seen enough of these shows to know that. But I gotta say, when you can go from NAACP Image Award to Chief Keef in one city, that takes the cake. Influence, diversity.
Subject matter, you may be accurate in the fact that, as I mentioned, there's a consistency in the content. For good reason. I was always taught, for dudes coming out of Memphis, they live under the acronym Making Easy Money, Pimpin' Hoes and Style.
For making easy money, pimping hoes and style.
How many of you remember that? That's what Memphis lives by. So when we talk about their music, we should expect nothing less. This is what these guys are taught and raised by. That's what we talking about when we talking about Memphis.
I agree.
The Endo G's and Little Blunts. How many of y'all remember that? Players Don't Fall, the Antidote album. Chillin' Like a Villain, some of that. Some of those Tennessee and Memphis heads appreciate that. Endo G and Lil Blunt. Of course, I mentioned 8 Ball and MJG and the 3-6 Mafias, but I can't forget about the Player Flies and Skinny Pimp had it lit for a minute.
Facts.
How many of y'all remember, y'all niggas ain't no killers, y'all niggas some hoes?
I mean, when you're talking about that, these are great names you're bringing up. I'm here to say that the edge comes to Chicago because we have that and more. When you say, you know, excuse me, and Lil G's and Lil Blunts, I say Lil Reese and Lil Durk. Okay? I mean, you're talking about the same people who have the l.e.p. Bogus Boys.
Which song from Little Reese?
That is why you fail.
I can't remember at the moment.
Again,
I can't remember any of his songs at the moment.
that's to my point.
It's a real cool trick to tell them, well, what's the name of the song? Fine.
It's not a trick.
No,
I was
okay,
asking
fine. No, because what I was talking
Do you
about.
feel tricked?
Do you feel tricked?
What I'm talking about is, I know that you know Bump J is nice. I know that you know l.e.p. Bogus
we
Boys is
talking about
nice.
something, but Bump
I
J
know that
is
you
nice.
know Twista is nice. I know that you know Rocky Fresh is nice. Okay? So what I'm saying, all I was saying was, for every one of those gangster songs that is really good, the only thing that Chicago has that Memphis doesn't have is the other side, Common. Because when you look at Common and his 3 Grammys, which nobody in Memphis has a Grammy for, they might have an Oscar, but Common has an Oscar as well. There are no Grammys coming out of Memphis hip hop. I haven't heard one. You name me that. On the other side of that, like your Lil Bibbies, your Lil Reese, I say these names just to say gangster rap. Berg, okay, Bump J. You have Common.
Berg.
You have Common. Okay? Now, you tell me any song that's come out of Memphis that matches the quality of any one of his songs. Let's say On the Corner. That's a very famous, popular song. His song On the Corner. Give me a Memphis cat that matches that quality of song.
Yo Gotti with J. Cole. Or Yo Gotti with Jada Kiss, where I'm from. Check that one.
Oh, so they got to go outside of them. They got to go outside of Memphis to get that good. You're right. That's exactly what we was talking about. That's exactly what we was talking about. You got to go outside of Memphis because Memphis does one thing.
Those are on Yo Gotti albums. I don't know about go outside of anywhere. Those are on Gotti albums.
You got to go outside.
So I don't know.
The 2 you named was when he brought outside help.
They came to Memphis
because the people in Memphis, because the rappers in Memphis are very consistent at talking about these 2 things.
Making easy money, pimping hoes and stuff.
That's it. So I'm not saying something's wrong with that. I'm just saying I win the debate at that moment because I'm giving you so much more hot joints.
Well, you gave Grammys. You said Common
and awards.
You told me Common is more diverse. I gave you an Oscar, which nobody else has done. Chicago otherwise.
Common has an Oscar
telling me
for
about
that.
Grammy
What are you
awards.
talking about?
Common does not have an Oscar. In acting maybe, but not for music. He doesn't have an Oscar. You talking Grammys or Oscars? He doesn't have an Oscar.
Okay.
So we could trade awards, but like I said, again, these are dudes with little to no radio play that have made empires and made mainstream look at them. Not sign to major labels and have gimmicky raps and bubblegum fluff stuff that cross over to the mainstream. No, that's not what we talking about.
So Common is bubblegum and fluff.
No, but Chance the Rapper made you can debate it though.
So Lupe Fiasco then.
What about him?
His Grammy and his 12 nominations. That's bubblegum fluff? Or is he talking to the people just like everybody else?
He's all right.
Okay. What I'm saying is, if he's just all right, how come nobody in Memphis came out with has a Grammy yet? How come they can't talk about nothing else but that? And how come you can't beat the quality of one song?
I started at the top of the show
without help outside of Memphis,
saying the mainstream appeal of Memphis artists you won't see often because of the content of the music. Nobody's choosing to go mainstream in Memphis. So of course, yes, your little awards and accolades for rapping, which comes from mainstream appeal, would go to Chicago. understandably, because the artists that come out of Chicago, like l.e.p and talking about kicking a skateboard, or Chance the Rapper.
Okay, Twister talking about pimping hoes too. Then
what about Twister?
Was everything you can give me that they do, Chicago does, and more. That's how they win. Like, I don't understand how you
Twister
don't understand
is not nicer than Yo Gotti though. So what about Twister?
Twister
with all the
rap
fast raps, he's not better than Yo Gotti. And no, which album? He's not better than the Yo Gotti
and
project.
where's the influence
over the last decade and a half?
And where's the? I mean, we have
influence.
Chicago has exported rappers like the Brat.
Oh, come on.
Chicago has exported rappers like Ludacris.
Were born in one state and migrated to another when they were kids. Like, come on.
I'm giving you names of people who are known as great, man.
You know, Michael Jordan is from New York. Like, he wasn't.
He
like,
is.
The Brat grew up in Atlanta with Jermaine Dupri. So did Bow Wow. They were born in different states.
I'll tell you what. Let me wrap it up. I'm gonna wrap it up like this. I understand what you're saying. All I'm saying is, from Mick Jenkins, From Mick Jenkins all the way to Bump J, you're going to find the influence of Chicago, the city of Chicago, from gangbanging culture to the upliftment of black people, to the upliftment of humans everywhere. Listen to Mick Jenkins, since he doesn't know who he is. I've mentioned him so many times on this show, he should have at least researched him once by now. Awesomeness. People like from Common all the way to l.e.p. Bogus Boys. We're talking about the influence of diversity and straight up influence. These Grammy Awards don't come by nothing. They come because they're listened to by millions of people and have the whole drill music that when we talked about Triple X Tentacion yesterday, the type of music he makes was started by Chicago. That is what drill music is. I'm not down in the fact that Memphis does what it does. The MEMPHIS. You're right. It's an acronym. And that's exactly what they do in their rap. What I'm giving you is miles ahead in influence. I'm recognized worldwide amongst musicians and Academy members alike. Recognized by people who are recognized by the NAACP Image Awards, as well as people who are recognized by the gangs, the folks, by the Four Corner Hustlers, as well as people recognized like that. That is influence. That's diversity. That's the winner of the debate.
Winner not even. While it's to be respected that, you know, you get mainstream acclaim and crossover, you know, and your music crosses over to a certain demographic, it's not the interval, it's not the end of all. Furthermore, it's something to be said about the guys who do it independently and make fortune out of it. You talking fame, I'll talk fortune. The guys like Young Dolph, who created their own lane, their own buzz, without being signed to anybody. This is why these dudes don't win Grammys. These guys come out their own pocket and create their own music, shop it at their own city, and do their own shows. All of this is done by themselves. Dolph has created an empire already within a two-year span. These guys are creating empires on the underground, independently, with little to no radio play. What that means is they're getting no help. There's no help from nobody. No help from nobody. Yo Gotti did the same thing. He did the same thing independently. Cocaine Music is a brand. It's its own brand now. He's partners with Rock Nation now. It's a brand. These guys are turning independent, local, eating a lane from nothing and creating it into empires. There's something to be said about that. That's Memphis all day. That's Memphis all day long. Juicy J is still relevant in the hip hop. He was doing music in 92 and 93. He's still relevant. Go check him out with Wiz Khalifa, one of those joints. Consistency, that's what they've done with that. That's what they've done. A lot of independent artists coming from the underground in Memphis and making the mainstream pay attention to them.
Chief Keef was just like that.
Making the mainstream pay attention to them. Period.
He's
Bottom
not signed
line.
by anybody. Okay.
He was dropped off his label. Let's not forget that.
Look,
Chief Keef was dropped off his label. There's a difference. I know about Chief Keef's situation. After he started talking crazy about he was blowing up whole states, they dropped him from the label. Let's not forget.
Listen, y'all check out
But y'all let
some older people too. Rhyme
leave
Fest
in the comments.
and Sly Polaroid. I
Let
want
y'all
to
know
make sure y'all
what.
know who
Let
those
us know
people
what
are.
y'all think.
D.A. Smart. Check them
Memphis
out.
or the Chi-Town. It's to be respected. I know a lot of them dudes he talking about.
The Treated Crew. Check them out.
The
And
Bibby,
BBU.
Bogus Boys, Bump J just coming home. I know the real ones coming up out of the Chi-Town. Memphis has done it for a long time consistently.
Y'all check it out. Y'all tell us who won this debate. Am I right? The amount of diversity and the influence, the awards, the acclaim by these artists, or is it that the underground empires built down there in Memphis? Both have a place. Both should be recognized. You tell us who won this debate and why. Okay, we got other cities coming up, but you can also just give us suggestions. We may just say it.
Yeah, let us know what cities y'all want to see us debate. Y'all let us know. Any shout outs today, Bruce?
Got no shout outs today. Y'all have been leaving comments, but we have no shout outs today. I just wanted to reiterate the Brewery Factory. For some reason in the editing, yesterday's show, it didn't really get to say your name the full way. So I wanted to make sure that you got that shout out and you didn't think that we just cut it off like that. The Brewery Factory, thank you for giving us that comment yesterday.
Brew, my dude, you already know.
All right, man. So, yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please press that subscribe button. You like the beats? Right down there, the link is in the description on how to get them.
To the next time, keep tuning in, keep pressing that subscribe button like my man said. Guarantee we got good shows that y'all gonna want to see. We out of here.
Peace.